Hello everyone, my name is Dr. Holmes. I want to take this opportunity to welcome you to Anatomy and Physiology, course number 201, section 402. I want to commend you for being brave enough to take this course over the summer despite the fact that it is online. Of course, due to the unforeseen circumstances of COVID-19, we are unable to meet on campus, and so delivery will be strictly online. What I'm going to do now is go through the syllabus with you. I will take a different opportunity to introduce myself in the discussion board along with everyone else, just to show my participation in that. So if you've had an opportunity to print out the syllabus, which is what I recommended just so that you have it handy, that's great. If not, then you can just follow through the syllabus as it is presented online in Blackboard. So of course, my office hours are going to be virtual because campus access is very limited. My office hours will be 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Wednesday and Thursday, or by appointment. I do have a cell phone number that is listed there. You can feel free to text me during office hours or give me a call as well. My office phone number is also listed. The only catch with that is, of course, I'm not on campus. However, if you were to leave a voicemail on my office phone, I would be able to retrieve it from my email. I do also have a Zoom account, and in Blackboard there was a link for you to set up your own Zoom if you wish to have face-to-face meetings, so to speak. My email is listed there, holmesln@matc.edu. You can contact me at any time. I will say that when you do contact me, I will be available to respond to you Monday through Friday. However, Friday after 5 p.m. I take the liberty to do some self-care and rest over the weekend. So if you contact me Friday evening, Saturday and or Sunday, I won't get back to you until that following Monday or Tuesday. So you have enrolled in Natural Science 201-402. This is a general course presenting unifying concepts critical to a basic understanding of the human body. Lectures and laboratory studies use models and digital dissection to present integumentary, skeletal, muscular, nervous, and endocrine systems. This course will run from June 7th through July 26th. Of course, it is worth 4 credits and the delivery format will be online. The prerequisite for this course is 1 year of either high school or college biology or high school or college chemistry. The textbook information is listed for you in addition to the lab manual information, which is listed for you. You can order that stuff from the bookstore if you have not obtained your copies already. There are also other resources that students have used. You don't necessarily need to have a bound copy of the book. The bookstore does offer the copy of the book that is unbound, in which you can place those pages into a through binder, which is a bit of a cheaper option. Some students have also opted to not get a physical book but utilize the electronic book, which is perfectly fine. No matter which format of the book you decide to go with, I do ask that you make sure that you have the access code for Connect, because we will be utilizing that, of course, for our Connect assignments, which not only are utilized here in an online format, but they're also utilized in the face-to-face courses as well. You will have the opportunity to learn the many skills in this course. A complete list of the course outcome summaries for this course are listed in Blackboard just below where you found this syllabus. So we have a class calendar, and when I say I commend you for your bravery in taking this course over the summer, is of course the summer is much shorter than the normal semester. We only have 8 weeks to fit in the content of this course, which will in turn prepare you for Anatomy and Physiology 2. The course calendar has been created for you. You will be able to take a look at the course calendar, which corresponds with the weekly assignments that you will see listed in Blackboard. So for week 1, we are going to start out by just having an introduction to class, and this will entail in you completing a learning style assessment, which we would have done in class, but there is an electronic version for you to do. And when you do complete that learning style assessment, I just ask that you write down your learning style or styles, because you may be more than one, and maybe just jot down some helpful tips that may help you study. You will be sharing that information as you introduce yourself in the discussion board. You will also be, as I mentioned, introducing yourself in the discussion board. You will be reading through chapter 1, taking a look at the chapter 1 lecture, as well as completing Connect assignment number 1, quiz number 1, and looking at the lab information for this chapter, which includes anatomical terminology as well as directional terms. From there, we will transition into chemistry and cells, move into tissues and the integumentary system. From there, we will go through the skeletal system and joints. We will go through the muscle system, take a look at the brain and spinal cord, and then end with special senses in the endocrine system. I do list the assignments that are due for each week, which are the Connect assignments. I list the quizzes that are due. I also list the labs that we will be completing for that particular week, as well as when the exams are. Let me just explain a little bit about what the Connect assignments are. The Connect assignments are just an additional tool that we utilize to better review information that we may not necessarily have an opportunity to get to while we're in a class. It's just additional information. The Connects consist of 25 questions that review content from that particular chapter. And you go through and you can actually complete the Connect assignments as many times as you like. And then the quizzes themselves are all worth 19 points. So you have 19 questions to answer. Again, those questions are from the particular chapter from which they've been assigned. I won't read through the syllabus word by word, but I just went through the Connect activities for you, and I mentioned there that only your highest 15 scores will be counted, meaning that you'll have some extra Connects that you'll complete, which thankfully will be dropped at the end of the summer session. Now, with regards to the lecture exams, the lecture exams may consist of true, false, matching, multiple choice, and short answer questions. We're online, so of course there's no makeup exams unless arrangements are made with the instructor prior to scheduled starting time of the exam, or unless written documentation of a medical excuse or equivalent is provided. Now, the fact that we are online allows you the opportunity to have access 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And it is the hope that, given the calendar and the due dates, and I'll tell you why I give the quotation fingers, but the due dates are used to keep us on track. If for some reason you find yourself falling behind or there's been some sort of medical emergency, I do ask that you communicate that information so that we can make the appropriate arrangements for that. What should not happen is that 2 weeks, 3 weeks should not go by and you not complete work, and then at the end of those 3 weeks you let me know, oh, I had a medical emergency and I wasn't able to complete the work. At this point, it's going to be really important for you to take responsibility for your education and make sure that you're communicating when you need for certain arrangements to be made, so that we can take care of that in a timely manner. It's more difficult to try to backtrack and make exceptions when due dates have already passed, assignments and quizzes and exams have already been graded. With regards to labs, we're not face-to-face, so your labs will, for the most part, be online. And as you go through each of the week's content, I will explain how those labs will go for those particular weeks. Laboratory practicals. Now, these typically, as you've probably heard from other anatomy and physiology students, have been done in a classroom setting, where you walk into your laboratory setting, you see different models that have been laid out on the lab benches, and they have labels requiring you to name a particular portion of that model. Unfortunately, we don't have the luxury of doing that, which I hope in this setting decreases a little bit of your anxiety with regards to lab practicals. They will be all online. And so I hope that makes it a little bit easier for you. And I use the term easier for lack of a better word, in that in an online environment, I can't proctor you, I can't see you. So if you happen to use notes or textbook, I won't know that. With regards to quizzes, you see that the quizzes are all listed for you in the course calendar. Your top 10 scores will be graded. Therefore, you will have extra quizzes at the end of the summer session that will be dropped. So that's great. That gives you a little bit of a cushion. Now, I do include the grading scale and point distribution for you to take a look at. I do want you to be very aware that the percentages are not rounded. Again, the percentages are not rounded, which is what you will find in your health occupations programs. Now, the things that will be graded for you this session include the Connect activities. So you'll have 15 Connect activities that would be graded. They are worth 7 points each. Your lab assignments, there will be 15 lab assignments worth 7 points each. Quizzes, there will be 10 quizzes that are included in your final grade. Those are worth 19 points each, as I've stated earlier. There will be 4 lecture exams. Each of those lecture exams are worth 80 points. And then you will have 3 lab practicals that you will complete. Now, with regards to responsibilities and policies, I do want you to take a look at this, because as a student you have rights and responsibilities that you must follow, and those are in accordance with MATC's student handbook. Academic dishonesty is very important, especially in an online environment where you are not proctored, if you will. All in all, I ask that if we were in a face-to-face class, you would not be working with another student to complete quizzes, you would not be working with another student to complete exams, you would not be working with another student to complete lab practicals. So I just ask that you maintain that same integrity. Now, there are withdrawal procedures, and simply that withdrawal procedure states one of 2 things. You have the option to drop the course yourself if you feel for whatever reason you may not be successful in the course. Or if you do not attend class, and your attendance is going to be pretty much tracked by the work that you're completing every week. So if it doesn't appear that you're completing work, that in turn means that you have been attending class. An instructor can withdraw you from a course if they notice that you have not been attending the class and, or in this particular case, completing the work that has been assigned. So regular weekly coursework is essential to successfully completing this class. The amount of time will vary as to what you need to put in. In a traditional classroom setting, a 3-credit class requires 48 classroom hours, with the expectation that the student commits an additional minimum of 96 hours of preparation outside of class. What that really boils down to is there's an old saying or an old adage that states for every 1 hour that you are in class, you are responsible for spending 2 to 3 hours outside of class studying. You must check your MATC email and log in to Blackboard routinely during the week in order to keep up with the homework, and make sure you receive all class announcements. I will try to make everything as concise as possible so that anything that you need to know regarding that particular week is located in the link for that particular week. Anything extra that you may need to be updated on will not only pop up in Blackboard as an announcement, but you will also receive that same announcement via your email. So you need to make sure that you're able to get into your MATC email account, which in turn is the same login for Blackboard, which is the same login for Info Online. If you have difficulties with that, you will have to call the MATC help desk for assistance in getting into those respective logins. Now, as your instructor, I commit to communicating openly and frequently with you about this class. I will maintain a professional, safe learning environment, adhering to the policies of the college. You can expect a reply to communication via email, through online discussions, voicemail, or in person within 24 to 48 business hours. Business hours means Monday through Friday. That, of course, does not include the weekend. Personal conduct policy: if you have an email class question, you can typically expect a response within a day. All correspondence with your instructor should be professional in nature, as it is good practice for the real world, especially for those of you who are going into health occupations programs, because you will be documenting as you are in those programs. So it'll be very important for your written communication to be very clear and concise. So inappropriate language, tone, and format are unacceptable, or in other words, please no texting language. Academic assistance is available to you, and I encourage you to take advantage of the academic support services and accounting labs and tutoring services. It has been my experience that students who utilize these valuable resources are more apt to succeed in their classes, and you do have the respective phone numbers for the academic support centers at all 4 campuses listed there. There are additional student assistance that are available, such as food, housing, information regarding transit, those types of things. If you need any of that information, please feel free to reach out to your advisor or let me know, and I will direct you to the appropriate person. There are just a few other things as we take a look at the syllabus here, turning the page. There is a grade appeal process that you can do at the end of the semester, not just for this course, but any course in general. So within 15 business days from the date grades are due or submitted if done. So after the due date, the student shall contact the instructor who issued the final grade to discuss the grade in question. The contact or the discussion should occur to be documented in writing via email. If the student is unable to contact the faculty member, he or she may seek assistance through the instructor's associate dean. So if you want to appeal a grade, make sure you do so within 15 business days of that grade being submitted to the college. There is a procedure for student complaint. So I encourage you to take a look at that. There is a statement regarding an incomplete. An incomplete for a course is not generally given unless there is some sort of extenuating circumstance, such as a hospitalization, for example. There is a statement of non-discrimination which states that MATC does not discriminate against any student or applicant for admission on the basis of race, color, sex, pregnancy, political affiliation, source of income, place of business, residence, religion, creed, ethnicity, national origin, including ancestry, citizenship status, physical or mental disability, age, marital status, family responsibilities, sexual orientation, gender identity, veteran or military status, including special disabled veteran, Vietnam-era veteran, or recently separated veteran, predisposing genetic characteristics, domestic violence victim status, or any other protected category under applicable local, state, or federal law, including protections for those opposing discrimination or participating in any complaint process on campus or externally. So if you believe that you've been subjected to unlawful discrimination or you want to report a concern, you definitely can do so online. There is also the Americans with Disabilities Act statement, which states that if you have a disability that impacts your academic performance and wish to request an accommodation, student accommodation services can be contacted via that website. They have a phone number as well. They may require a documentation regarding your disability to enable them to comply with your request. Admission of a disability is voluntary and will be handled in a confidential manner. MATC does not discriminate against individuals with disabilities and fully complies with the Americans with Disabilities Act. To ensure your academic success in your program, you are strongly encouraged to provide your instructor with a copy of the instructor notification form from the Student Accommodation Services. There are also Title IX regulations that we follow, and that is a federal law that prohibits sex discrimination. Sex discrimination includes sexual harassment, sexual violence, and any other sex-based misconduct, relationship violence, discrimination based on pregnancy, and failure to provide equal opportunity in all areas of schooling, such as admissions, educational programs, activities, and athletics. And so if you feel that you have a complaint or concern in which you would like to share, you can report that online as well. There is an emergency evacuation statement which you are able to read. We are not on campus unless, of course, and I mentioned this in week 1, if the open lab is available, which it had very limited availability towards the end of the spring semester, of course, due to COVID-19. But if there is availability this summer session, you'll be notified. And it is at that time that you will have some limited access to campus, at which time the emergency evacuation statement will become important to you. So I'd ask you to take a look at that in your syllabus. The Clergy Act compliance just states that in compliance with the Clergy Act, MATC publishes an annual security report which discloses campus security policies, 3 years of selected crime statistics. This report is available to all students, and hard copies can be obtained from any MATC public safety office during normal business hours, and there's also an electronic version that is available to you. We do list MATC career essentials, which are in your syllabus, and I ask you to take a look at that. And then for anyone who has not done an online orientation, I encourage you to do so. If you have not had an opportunity to do that, in the getting started instructions, which I kind of mentioned in the week 1 information, there is a link, a hyperlink that you can click, and it'll take you to kind of like a tutorial on how to navigate Blackboard, especially navigating Blackboard when you are in an online environment that requires you to submit assignments online and not in a classroom setting. So I do encourage you to take a look at that. Finally, I just want to say that as we go through these next 8 weeks, in my head I kind of summed up each week starting from Sunday and ending on Saturday. And again, I went to earlier that we have these due dates, and those due dates mainly are to keep us on task so that we don't fall behind during the summer session. However, if you are unable to make any deadlines, just shoot me an email and let me know so that I'm aware of it. And we do have some flexibility where if you need to have additional time to complete any of the assignments, quizzes, exams, lab practicals, just let me know and we can kind of push those dates out a little bit. That's not a problem, but I do encourage you to stay on task as best as you can. Now, what you will find that is open for this week is week 1. I just want to make sure that we troubleshoot through the Connect and through the quiz, and that you also have an opportunity to post on the discussion board so that I can have feedback from you to know if there are any kinks that need to be ironed out before opening up weeks 2 through week 8. Definitely feel free to shoot me an email, and I look forward to you introducing yourself and learning more about you learning more about me within the discussion.